Okay, so every once in a while, I'm wrong. And I owe an apology to all the people that I said were wrong, because you were right. Today, I'm talking about the keltec SU16ca. This is not a final review, this is more just a first impressions, and I want to talk about it because I had so much fun shooting this gun that I owe some of you, and I owe Mr. Keltec an apology. Now, the Keltec SU16 is a little neat, handy carbine type firearm that has a really neat feature that allows it to just sort of fold up, and that's really what's very neat about it. Now, in the state of California, it's also specifically interesting because this gun is naturally featureless in the state of California, even though it folds in half, which is something that most other firearms that fold are not capable of doing in the state of California without breaking the law. So this gun has some things that are going for it, and it is very fun to shoot, and I'll talk about a few of those things. I'll talk about a few of the reasons why this gun isn't that great and what it might not be that good for, but I do want to give it some credit in an individual video where I just talk about my first impressions shooting this gun and what I like about it. So before we get going though, thank you to everyone that supports me. I want to say thank you to Barbell Apparel for supporting this channel. If you use the link in the description, it will help me out. Thank you. Also, any of the other links in the description, like Merrick Health, like Gorilla Mind. If you want to become a member of the YouTube channel and get access to the Discord, you can do that as well. Anyways, Keltec SU16, very neat gun. What is this gun? Well, this gun is a mostly polymer firearm, and it leaves a little bit to be desired because of that, but it is a very lightweight, very handy firearm chambered in 5.56 or 223 that takes AR pattern magazines, is what would be considered by some to be a ranch rifle, and you can remove the magazine and press the magazine release with your right index finger, which some of the most popular ranch rifles in California don't really allow you to do. This gun is awesome for what it is. And what it is a very inexpensive, very lightweight, handy little rifle. It being all polymer, it being made by Keltec, however, there are a few things that I do have to say about this that I don't super like. As you can see, the magazine release, it doesn't always drop free. Sometimes these mags do drop free, but this magazine release it kind of sticks and catches because there are seams from the injection molding process all over this gun. It is very rough. There are a lot of rough edges on this gun, but the price of it sort of lets you kind of get away with that. When you can find these, they're typically on the shelf for under $6 or at $6. So that's a pretty affordable price. And for what it is, which is a sub 5-pound gun, that's pretty neat. The fact that it folds and stows away, the fact that you can store an AR-15 full-size magazine in the buttstock like that is pretty nice. Now, it only works with metal mags, and some metal mags are tougher to get in and out than others. This one that I've had forever from ASC seems to work very well. Some other metal magazines, it takes like an unreasonable amount of force. Like I can't really get it out. And now I don't have weak hands. I can deadlift over 450 pounds. Like my grip strength is good enough to it not be the problem. But for some reason, some mags that are metal don't actually fit in there. So your mileage may vary depending on what mags you have access to. Since this gun is featureless in the state of California, I can run a normal 30 or 60 round mag from this gun, and that's pretty neat. So the gun's a good gun. It shoots fine. It doesn't shoot great. The recoil impulse on this, from it being a piston driven gun that is so lightweight, it's a little bit jarring. Now I'm saying that, but you got to keep in mind, it's still a 5.56, right? It's jarring for a 5.56 rifle when you compare it to something like an AR-15, when you compare it to something like one of the other ranch rifles with tunable gas systems, it is more jarring. It definitely, the recoil impulse is not as nice. The trigger it's fine. It's okay at best. The safety is workable, but it is a push button safety like most of these ranch rifle type firearms, meaning that you can press it off safe and then pull the trigger like that. And then to take it off safe, you kind of have to, as a right-hand shooter, bring your thumb over. But that's not a huge deal breaker. When you look at how these guns are marketed, they're marketed as for like utilitarian guns. So if you need a ranch rifle, this might actually be a decent option because it's inexpensive, it's accurate enough. Now, these are not precision guns. These guns are not intended or probably capable of the accuracy that you would want for a bench rest gun, even though it has a bipod. This gun has a built-in bipod that swings out like this. This bipod is unusable. This bipod is terrible. This bipod is trash. I cannot say enough bad things about this bipod. It is legitimately easier and better to take shots, in my opinion, without the bipod than it is to utilize this bipod, because you can't really pull back and brace against it because it's got an unstable footing platform, and then you can't allow the gun to, you can't push into it because it folds back. So it's kind of, the bipod functionality is really, in my opinion, more of a gimmick. I've seen people replace these fore ends with something like a Zukov from AK Magpul stuff, but I wouldn't do that. I would just leave this closed, pretend like the bipod doesn't exist, and don't use it because it is not good whatsoever. Other than that, the accuracy on this gun, the shootability of this gun, it's good. It's fine. It's not good. It's fine. It is completely acceptable. In terms of practical accuracy, I set up a steel target that's about 4.5 inches wide, maybe 5 inches wide, and I put that out at 100 yards. It basically blended in with the surroundings, and with this little micro red dot from Vortex, I was able to hit that standing at 100 yards consistently at a rate of fire that's not rapid by any means, but if I put the target, lined it up, and pulled the trigger, the gun would hit what I want it to hit. And for me, that's enough accuracy. I'm not going to be bench rest shooting this thing for groups. If I was a rancher or needed this gun as a utilitarian gun, it's going to hit something the size of Coyote, no problem. If you miss, that's on you. If you use decent ammo through it, you could probably get better groups. I did not group this gun. I basically just shot it. I got it zeroed, said that's good. Took it to 100 yards, shot it at a variety of distances, shot it close and fast. You can shoot this gun pretty fast, and you can also rapidly facilitate firing through the use of recoil and physics in a bumping manner. I gotta be kind of careful with the words I say because YouTube doesn't like certain things, but this gun shoots fine. It is reasonably accurate. I've shot about 500-600 rounds through this gun in one day in about an hour and a half. I got this gun smoking hot. I would say I probably got this gun hotter than 99% of the people that own a keltec will ever get this. The only person that probably runs a keltec like this harder that I know of on the internet would be nutnfancy. Nutnfancy loves these guns, so I got to apologize to him. I got to apologize to Mr. Keltec. I was unfamiliar with your game. These guns are amazingly fun to shoot. Like, I've talked bad about this, but at the end of the day, when I pick this gun up, I bring it up, and when I shoot this gun, I have a good time. It was the most fun I've had shooting a 5.56 rifle in a while. And as a frame of reference, the same day that I took this out, I also took out a Radian Model 1 with a scope that costs 3 times as much as this gun. And this was definitely, in my opinion, more fun. Was it as practical? No. Could I shoot it as fast? No. Could I shoot it as accurate? No. Was it as good of a shooting experience? No. But this gun is just cool. It is fun. It is lightweight. It is inexpensive. It has been perfectly reliable for me so far. Let's wait for a long-term review before we give it the full stamp of approval. But it does what I want it to do. And for the price, and when you look at it for what it is and judge it under those conditions, it's pretty dang good. Is it a great gun? No. Could it use a little bit more time in the R&D oven and come out as a better firearm? Yes. Could the machining and fit and finish be significantly better? Yes. Is it good? Still yes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. These guns are very neat. Unfortunately, it seems like they're very tough to get a hold of. When I initially got a hold of Keltec and they agreed to send one out to me, they actually didn't have any on hand because they don't do runs of these very often, it seems. The Keltec SU16ca and the variety of other Keltec SU16s have been around for over a decade, 15 something years at this point, and it seems like they've mostly moved on to other projects, but these guns, when they're available, are a good buy in my opinion, you know, assuming that the reliability shakes out. Now, I do have to note, it is a Keltec product, which means sometimes you will get a lemon. So you have to be ready for that. You have to accept that going into it. But I had a good experience. I'm curious if you have a Keltec SU16, what was your experience like? I've already heard a few people say that they had negative experiences with their same exact gun, but I've also had a ton of people say that they love theirs. And after having more time shooting one of these, I totally see why. Now, like I said, it's not a great gun, but for what it is, it's very cool, it's very fun, and it's good. It's good enough. It does what it is supposed to do, and it doesn't do things that you shouldn't expect out of a gun like this, if that makes sense. Let me know what you think. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.